What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Practice, the podcast where we fuse research and culture to help you develop the mindset, habits, and skills you need in order to live out your purpose with confidence. I'm your host, Coach Reese, and it's time to get better. Let's grow.
We talking about practice, not a game. We talking about practice.
Practices are meant to be competitive. They're meant to be competitive. If your practices aren't more competitive than the games themselves, you're doing the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. So I'm coming to you real, rap, raw, right off the dome today. No script. I'm just speaking my piece in my mind, and as you can see, maybe in my eyes, if you're watching this video, I'm a little tired, just a little bit, and I wanted to just come on here and be authentically raw because it's a part of the process. And I've been posting these things called Show Your Work on Instagram. And Show Your Work is basically like literally displaying all that I do in order to make my dream continue to come to fruition. And I got the idea simply from like being able to see people, and I feel like I've mentioned this before, on TikTok. I made a video about it, but you see people at a specific space in their journey. I always like to mention like Keith Lee or Pinky Cole, Tab, like we've got, or DeVal and Kadeen. We have certain people within the Black culture, Black community who are like at a certain pinnacle in space, but it's hard to, or oftentimes we don't see the real behind the scenes before they got to where they're at. Like a lot of people do behind the scenes stuff now after they've got a full team, but like the behind the scenes at the very beginning is what I'm trying to work really hard to show more of, and show more of on my personal IG page, and then showing the product or the fruition on my You-ish page, just so that way there's like a little a journey that you could follow. You follow me personally, you'll see all the work that I'm putting in, and then you see You-ish grow with the product of the personal work that I'm putting in. So Show Your Work has been something that I've really started to value because I am able to really see like, wow, look what I've accomplished this week. I've talked about this a couple podcast episodes before on like how I feel like, whoa, like what am I going to do emotionally when there's a week or a day that I didn't accomplish as much as I thought I should have, or I didn't meet my goals or my standards, or my habits fell off. And that's the interesting thing. That's where trusting the process and being committed really shows up. And I'm coming to you today off of like, a little tired, like I said. But the reason why I really wanted to just talk about this piece and show the behind the scenes of it is, again, because this is part of the process. It's part of the journey. And this is episode 20. And that's a big deal. That means for 20 weeks, that's like what, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 5 months I've been consistent with this. And I was like, there's absolutely no way I'm going to break this consistency. There's no way I'm not going to post an episode today. I'm just not doing it. I don't want to break that. And so for me, it was a really big deal to make sure that I showed up, but I wanted to show up as authentic as I could. And the past couple episodes, I've been able to, knowing that I was going to be on the road and doing different things, I wanted to be able to, I recorded them ahead of time to make sure that they went out in according. And I wasn't able to do that this last weekend with different events and games and all the things that we had going on. So I was like, yo, it's 7 o'clock and I got to get this podcast out. This isn't a habit, which is awesome. For me, I'm excited that this isn't something that I've done. I haven't done this, like try to get the episode recorded probably since episode 1 or 2. And so to know over the last 15 plus 17 episodes, I've been, prepared ahead of time, all that stuff, but life is picked up in an amazing way. And it's picked up in an amazing way, which is making me go back and look more at how I'm doing, what I'm doing, and how I'm expending my time expenditure. And so this is an episode that is kind of just me breaking down where I'm at. I want to talk a little bit about like the grind life and how I unsubscribed from it and how I'm working really hard to tap into hustle in flow, not hustle and flow, but hustle in flow. But also for me right now, like my entrepreneurship journey calls for me to work 7 days a week. And I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud to say that. I know a lot of people are like, we shouldn't, we shouldn't glamorize and we shouldn't reward and hype people up when they're working 7 days a week and over it all that. Like, I get it. I'm not pro grind. I'm not pro, no sleep, no rest, no exercise. But honestly, like in this moment, I've been up since 3:45 this morning. And so it's right now in this season, I have to work 7 days a week simply because I'm doing multiple jobs. And if I don't do those different jobs, certain things don't get done. And so I hope that piece right there kind of speaks to somebody, like just where I'm at right now, my entrepreneur journey calls for me to do, it has to work 7 days a week. It just is what it is. That doesn't mean I'm working all, 12 to 15, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. It just means something needs to get done. I need to fill time every day with something. When there's gaps, I got to take advantage, whether that's posting on social media or creating a graphic or working on some curriculum or reading up on something. Like every day something is happening. And my mission is by the end of the second quarter that I'm able to hire on an assistant or hire on an editor. So that is my mission. Like I have to work hard now in order to get rid of 1 to 2 jobs, but I can only get rid of 1 to 2 jobs when I have the funds to be able to pay those 1 to 2 jobs. So then when I get rid of 1 to 2 jobs, I get that much more time back. Right. And so for anybody in their early stage entrepreneur journey, like, and you're working, you feel like you're busting your butt to work, hard, and you're doing everything, you're wearing many hats. That's just a part of it. And again, I don't glorify the grind. And it's funny because I'll listen to Nipsey's song, Grinding on My Life. And I started singing it the other day and I was like, but I haven't been grinding on my life. I didn't start grinding until I was 18. And then I would say I grinded really hard from 18 to 26. And then 26, I started to like grind in grief. And grinding in grief is different because at 26 is when my mother passed away. And so my grind really took a lot from me. And I was listening actually today to Kendrick Lamar and United in Grief. And he was like, I grieve different. And I was like, I grieve different. So the reason I bring up those two scenarios and those songs is because when I say hustle and flow, it's really important for me, even while I talk about working 7 days a week, I'm a hustler. Like I had to retire from the grind life if I was going to survive and hit a certain level and sustain the amount of success that I want. But at the end of the day, like I'm a hustler. Like just there's literally no other way to describe who I am, what I do, how I do. Like I breathe hustle. Now it's not street hustle, but it's hoop hustle, entrepreneurship hustle, life hustle. Like I'm a go-getter. I'm a go get it. Like today I did a keynote at Nike. How fire, right? Hustle. And my opening song in the keynote was Hustle and Motivate, because when I think about that song by Nipsey, that makes me feel like all I'm trying to do is hustle and motivate. Like I want to hustle and motivate, inspire, empower, encourage other people to do the same, encourage other people to live out their purpose with confidence. Like that for me is it. So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I want to hustle in flow. So hustle and flow to me means if I'm able to create pockets of flow mentally and physically, that allows me to increase the amount of work and the production and performance that gets done. Now, just because, again, I'm working 7 days a week doesn't mean there's not pockets of rest that come in between then, right? I'm definitely spending time with family. I'm definitely being present wherever I'm at, whether I'm spending time, with friends or family or whatever. Like I'm able to squeeze that in. But again, there's 7 days of work that's happening, especially right now because Airbnb season is picking up. There's a lot of rental action that's going on. I've got, we're in season for the Superhawks. So we've got like 2 to 3 games a week. I've got multiple events a week. I've got emails I got to send out. I've got content. I've got it's everything, right? So for those, again, who are in your early stage entrepreneurship journey, no, without the hustle, it's not going to happen. Like, you're literally not going to be able to build. And when I look at cats again, like, you know, DeVal and Kadeen and Pinky and Tab, I feel like Tab just is in flow. I don't really see her like hustle. She's just in flow. It may not be a part of her makeup, but definitely Pinky. I know every time I go on IG, I'm like, yo, this chick is killing it. And I think the same for like DeVal and Kadeen. And I'm inspired by that kind of joint. Like, where I think about Kevin Hart, right? Kevin Hart for me is like a standard in a lot of different ways, or even Issa Rae, like their ability to produce and create at a high level consistently. But again, all these people I mentioned have something that I don't have: a team. So I'm hustling as hard as I can to get to a level that allows me to have a team. And then I get to hustle in a different way, but I forever want to hustle in flow. The reason why I've disowned and kind of stepped away from the grind life is because grinding literally breaks you down. Like, grinding literally will kill you. Like, that's almost the definition of grinding, is to tear down, is to beat. And I think that when we focus on grinding, that influences burnout, which is influenced by imposter syndrome, or the aspects of imposter syndrome pop up when you're in burnout: self-sabotage, decision fatigue, all those different things. And I've experienced all of that when I focused on grinding, no rest, no breaks. So the difference between grinding and hustle and flow is hustle and flow has rest, right? It includes that time of breaks and meditation. And I'm still doing my morning routine at different pockets. But the flow also tells me to listen to my body. It tells me to stop and pause. It tells me to, you know, go outside for a walk with the family, or to just be present in a different way so I can get refilled up. Where the grind doesn't leave a lot of space for almost anything but the grind. So I know that was a lot of information. And if you're listening to this, I hope you're kind of feeling, you know, some of what I'm saying. I know this is out of the norm of the podcast style that I've been doing, but I wanted to make sure that I am just being as transparent, authentic, and open as possible. And my number one mission was to stay committed. An episode's got to go out today. So that's what we're doing. We're going to episode out. But I also wanted to add value to your life, and for you to know, whoever listens to this at any point in time, right, that that rest is always necessary. Grace is always necessary. That you don't have to subscribe to the grind. You don't even have to subscribe to hustle, right? Like, that's just me and my MO. But this is also just a catch up for me and what I'm doing, because I don't really talk much about what I'm doing in the podcast, right? You can see that in TikTok and IG and that kind of deal. But I wanted to inform those of who follow the podcast to like really be like, okay, what's Coach Reese doing? Where's she at? So quick updates. I am the mental development coach for the Seattle Superhawks, which is an amazing experience. So much information, so much to learn about working at professional sports and working with the men's basketball team and learning men and how they operate, and just really being able to teach them about topics that I care about deeply, which is emotions, emotional confidence, mindset development, imposter syndrome, toxic masculinity versus femininity, all those amazing different things, alongside money, mindfulness, and leadership, and branding, right? The next piece is I'm doing a lot of keynotes and workshops right now, which is really, really fun because it's exactly what I want to do. And so one week I may be, live streaming something via Zoom at LSU, and then I'll be doing something in person. Like this morning I said I was at Nike, and then I'll be at Nike again on Friday, but tomorrow I'll be at a high school. So, and then Wednesday and Thursday I've got events for the team, and Saturday. And so every single day provides something different. But the biggest thing for me right now, and I'll give you this, for somebody who is committed to growing and wanting to grow while you're in flow and in specific seasons, is I'm really making sure I'm doing 3 things every day. This has always been habits that I've wanted to have. That is to read something, to always read so I can download in that way, to watch something, whether it's a video podcast, or a music video, whatever, anything in entertainment, education space that I can watch that allow me to gather content, even if it's on, social media. And the third thing is to listen. So read, watch, and listen. I do these 3 things every single day that allows me to grow as a practitioner. And I want to read, watch, and listen to things that way when I go out and I'm teaching, I can spit these things out of me. So again, a part of that hustle and flow means there's a lot of movement that's going on. And now that I'm driving a lot or I'm walking, or I'm working out, I want to make sure that I'm pouring into myself because I want to be one with my content. And I want to be able to go off the rip and go off the dome and be able to spew out something that's in alignment with whatever it is that I'm talking about, and not always have to write notes and look at my notes, but I can speak about it because it's a part of who I am. So if you're somebody who's like, you're trying to be an expert in your field and whatever that is, then make sure you are reading, watching, and listening to stuff that makes sense to you and you're learning from other people that makes sense with whatever your content is. The other thing that I forgot to say is I'm doing my analyzing for my doctorate. And so I am in the midst of analyzing, which will take another, hopefully the next week or so. And then I go in and write chapters 4 and chapter 5. And I complete the dissertation. So my mission, my March Madness, is getting this dissertation done by the end of March. That's my mission. So I can go into April and defend in April, depending on the timing of everything, April, May, hopefully, and then I'll be done. So your coach is growing. I'm pressing in. I'm hustling. I'm in flow, but I'm also the happiest, I would say, holistically and joyful that I've ever been, the most authentic and whole. Like I feel good. I'm working really, really hard and I want to see this vision that I have come to fruition. And I appreciate those who are tapping in, who are following along, who are, part of the process at any single stage. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for allowing me to just come in this space and be like, yo, it's a little different day. So the story time today was catching up on my life. The songs, we got Grinding on My Life and United in Grief by Nipsey and then by Kendrick Lamar. The research is just human development, all things human, burnout, psychological well-being. So when I say like I'm hustling and flowing, I'm tired, but I also feel happy and hopeful and optimistic, my psychological well-being is really, really high, but my energy at this moment, it's a little bit low because it's natural. So after this, I'm going to get this up and out, and then I'm going to take time to just kind of rest because 3:30 will be here before I know it. So again, your takeaways for allowing you to be able to grow in whatever area is figure out what you need in order to hustle and flow. Everybody needs something different and every season looks different. You may need a grind season for a month, right? Like I may need to just really grind and buckle down and get this analyzation done for my doctorate. I might need to do that, right? So you may need to grind for a season. But again, I think hustling and flow allows you to sustain whatever it is versus breaking yourself down and grinding. The next thing is read, watch, and listen. Read, watch, and listen. You got to do that. If you want to grow, you want to be a learner, you got to read, watch, and listen. And then the last thing that I'll tell you is create a process not only that you trust, but that you enjoy. Create a process that not only you trust, but you also enjoy. So I hope that you got something out of this impromptu, scheduled, planned-ish episode. I'm your host, Coach Reese, coming to you real rap raw today. Make sure you're following me on all platforms to stay up with the legit behind the scenes of the buildup of what I've got going on. Let me know how I can help you, how I can serve you in any way, shape, or form. Please know that I believe in you, I care for you, I love you, and I appreciate you. Until next time, peace.